What's up, YouTube? This is James coming back at you with another informative video. Hope everybody's doing well out there on this Sunday night. I'm doing good myself. Had a pretty nice, relaxing day. In fact, I had a relaxing weekend and everything. Uh, Other than having to go and get some car repairs done, stuff like that. Shit that sets you back a little bit and the paycheck, We all have to endure moments like that. But other than that, everything's been cool. Okay? I came across a story right here, talking about public safety at risk from record number of prisoners released to sleep on streets, probation watchdog warns. Okay, so for whatever reason, a lot of these guys, you know, go to prison. When they get out, a lot of them ain't got nowhere to go, ain't got no jobs. You understand? So, yeah, I guess they would have to pretty much sleep wherever they can. But it's not cool to actually release a person back into society without getting them some kind of help. That goes with rehabilitation. You see what I'm saying? That goes with correction. You got to give them something to where when they get out, they don't feel like going back to the same kind of life that led them to go to prison in the first place. You know, for the ones that has actually learned a lesson. I mean, to me. But to get into the story, let's see. And it's got this little picture right here, person, homeless person right here, and everything. But a number of offenders released from jail to sleep rough on the streets has hit a high of more than 100 a month, threatening public safety from the greater risk of reoffending. HM Chief Inspector of Probation has revealed. Just reading that right there makes you wonder if that's what the scheme was about in the first place. Because if you're going to release them back in the public, why wouldn't you put them in some program to where they can get a job? Some kind of halfway house or something like that, where they can stay, do some work, and get some kind of knowledge, get some kind of trade, and get a job and work. See? But I guess by doing that way they can keep that free prison labor, right? But to continue, new figures from the Ministry of Justice show 1,287 prisoners were released onto the streets to sleep rough in 2018/19, with a further 3,455 homeless and another 8,480 at risk of homelessness from being placed in unsettled accommodations. That represents 1 in 8 of the total 109,000 prisoners released from jail last year. That does not include a further 29,400 prisoners whose accommodation status was unknown on release, almost treble the number in the previous year. Justin Russell, Chief Inspector of Probation, said, "There's the obvious danger that if you are homeless, it will increase the risk you will reoffend. You can't make a benefit claim. You can't register with a GP. It's almost impossible to register for a job. It's the starting point for everything else to happen." What's that? MOJ figures. Okay, yeah. MOJ figures released under Freedom of Information laws show 2/3 of all adult prisoners released in 2016 and who slept rough or were otherwise homeless went on to commit another crime within a year. The number class as rough sleeping as rocketed in the past 3 years. Largely because of better recording by the MOJ. It was as little as 22 a quarter in 2016, rising to from 1,192 in 2017/18 to 1,287 this year. So I mean, when you look at it, they have to. This has to be some kind of scheme in the first place. They know that these people are going to do that. A lot of them, because shit, if they figure, hell, they got a roof over their head, a cot or a bed to sleep on, and they eating. You understand what I mean? They are actually housed from the elements. Why not say, well, shit, I'm gonna just go and commit another crime and go back to the big house? That's what they're hoping you do. So it's just one of those situations. My advice would be to somebody like that: don't go in the first place. You know, and if you do, and you find yourself in this situation, best thing I can do is tell you to pray and ask the Most High for help. Because that's the only way out of it. You know what I mean? And then follow the guidelines that He send you when He grants you the help. Then you can come out of this. That's basically what this all boils down to. See? But back to the story. The Homeless Reduction Act, which came into force in October 2018, puts an obligation on prison and probation service to refer prison leavers to local authorities if they are at risk of homelessness. However, charities have pointed out that this is often just a transfer of information rather than a resolution, with many single homeless people deemed intentionally homeless because they had been in prison. Mr. Russell said it generally required someone sitting around in a local authority until they find somewhere for them to stay. I think that's a halfway house they're talking about. It typically typically happens, people, on a Friday when they are released, and it's over the weekend, so they will be homeless then. There are limited numbers of approved hotels for released prisoners, particularly for women, while they tend to be prioritized for the most serious offenders. I bet you this, though. I'm going to say this. Women can find somewhere to live, a lot faster than a man can. I'm going to just leave it at that. They can. Most women than men end up rough sleeping. 5.1% female to 4.2% male. The figure for higher for those released from short sentences. 7.7% of women to 7.4% men. A Ministry of Justice spokesman said, making sure those leaving prison have a roof over their heads help reduce reoffending. Right. Which is why we are spending an extra, what's that, 22 million. It got that little funny little British sign, England sign in front of it. 22 million a year helping offenders stay off streets, and have placed a new duty on prison governors to alert councils if someone leaving their prison is at risk of homelessness. We're also helping vulnerable former prisoners find stable accommodations through a, whatever that sign, 6 million, E6 million, whatever, pilot scheme at Leeds, Pentonville, and Bristol prisons as part of the government's E1 million rough sleeping strategy, which this year saw the first fall in the numbers of people rough sleeping for 9 years. Okay. Definitely a situation. Like I said, if they want to correct and rehabilitate somebody from not being a criminal, you think they will help them get on their feet when they get out of prison. It's the only fair thing to do. You can't turn a person loose back into society, after they've been locked up with nothing. What else are they going to do? Yeah, they're going to rough sleep. If they can't go stay with a relative somewhere or a friend or what have you, what else do you think they're going to do? Chances are if they get hungry, they're going to reoffend. These people know that. They know that. But y'all tell me what y'all think about this story. I'm interested in hearing y'all thoughts and views on it. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I want to say this. Y'all make sure to remember, live your lives as though you are being watched. This is James, and I'm out. Peace.